Hello and welcome. My name is Nate and today we're doing the blind welding challenge. Now as welders, we know that our entire welding world revolves around dash: distance, angle, speed, and heat. These four things directly influence our weld and the quality of our weld. Now, of course, we monitor these things by using our eyes. Now, as we go along as welders, everything kind of becomes a little bit of muscle memory, whether it be a whip or circles, how often you feed TIG rod, the spacing on a stick weld, that kind of stuff, right? So a good way to challenge yourself as a welder is to do the blind welding challenge. So let's dig in. Now, please keep in mind, this is just for fun. Don't do this on a weld that's going to be structural, automotive, matter really. We're just doing this to check to see how much muscle memory we have when we take away one of our senses. Also, keep in mind, if you are going to do this, please wear proper PPE, helmet, all of the stuff, just to make sure you're safe. Now, while we're doing this, I'm actually not going to blindfold myself. I am just going to close my eyes under the hood. That way, if something does start to spark or arc weird, I can just open my eyes and fix the problem. For this challenge, I'm going to be using YesWelder's DP200 dual pulse MIG welder, and we are going to be doing this on MIG. So how does the blind welding challenge work? The blind welding challenge, you start by doing one weld, normally eyes open, and do it across. So let's do a normal weld across our piece here and see what that looks like. So we can see the test weld, the normal weld, eyes open weld. We have a very straight weld. It's very uniform on the toes. We're not going like this. It's also very uniform in the weld height. So that's what we're going to judge all the blind welds against. So now it's time to close our eyes and go blind. So blind attempt number one. Not terrible, but not great. As we can see in the beginning of the weld, I get a little squirrely with the direction. And then I settle in through the middle of the weld and then end up actually slowing down towards the end of the weld. And we can tell that because the bead got a little bit fatter and a little bit shallow, like the bead's fatter and lower, which means more heat got put in, so it washed out a little bit. So fast at the front, got a little squirrely, got back on track, pretty decent actually, and then just kind of lost the sauce on the travel speed there. I was really going off of sound more than anything because I like to whip my MIG welds. So my eyes are closed and I'm whipping, and that motion is pretty normal in my wrist. So I was really going off the sound on how far I'm traveling back and kind of just trying to pace it like a metronome. So with that in mind now, let's try it again. Okay, blind attempt number two. Not terrible, but definitely had moments of like, you know. Started off, I came out of the gate way too fast. I needed to slow down. We can tell that because the weld is very upright. It's not very well wetted in, so the metal wasn't quite hot enough on the start, or the machine isn't hot enough on the start. So that is a speed issue. Then my angle of the torch starts to drift a little bit, but we kind of get into a bit of a rhythm. And then again, I seem to slow down and it just washes out. I kind of pick back up again. Not terrible. Definitely need to work on consistency in terms of speed, which seems to be my issue when I'm not looking. So let's go into that now, thinking of speed, and let's adjust. I'm going to adjust because I'm noticing that I'm feeling my torch is actually, my gun is hitting the metal and sticking a little bit. So I'm going to try to adjust from a 45 to maybe like a 30, a bit shallower angle, not quite as hard angle going in, to see if that fixes it. So while that might be the straightest weld I've done blind, it's actually the worst, and that's because I changed the angle of my, I'm always like a good solid 45, it lets the gas flow in and you cruise along. But because I was sticking that nozzle, I tried to come a little bit more upright, and it did keep the nozzle out of the weld and I wasn't sticking. However, it did interrupt the gas flow and really introduce a bunch of nasty porosity that weld is gonna fail immediately. So not using that muscle memory on my angle really messed up this one right here. So there you go, the blind welding challenge, a great little exercise to really check in with yourself and see how you're progressing as a welder. Of course, welding takes years of experience to master, and I'm not really sure you ever do master it, which is what makes it so fun. I've been welding for, 5, 6, 7 years now, and I was really kind of nervous to do this for the first time because I didn't know what it would be like. I've never welded with my eyes closed before, and I can see those hours behind the hood. You know, they're not terrible welds. There's stuff I need to work on. Most of that is my speed and really reading the weld puddle, which I can obviously do with my eyes open, but when I take that sense away, it does make it a lot more difficult. Some people, you might find that you totally kind of, if your weld starts here and it arcs like this, that is a pretty big issue. But that is not only because of your eyes, you can also attribute that to how you set your arms up, because I used to do this when I was learning how to weld too, is my welds would always trend down, and that's because instead of moving across linearly, I would like anchor on an elbow, and then as I went, we can see just naturally it's gonna bring it down. So by doing the blind welding challenge, you can learn about stuff like that with your welding and make you better, faster. Again, please wear your PPE while you're doing this, and absolutely do it on just a flat sheet of scrap, and don't do it on something that actually is gonna matter while you weld. For more information and awesome welding videos, check out YesWelder.com, and until next time, enjoy welding with YesWelder.